What's up, guys? It's Predator here, and it's been a hot minute since I released a video, but I figured that I had a lot of work, and I figured you know just for the funsies and to react to a video, I figured to react to a video trying to
If
just
you've not been living on
oh my goodness, I actually my bad. Okay, what I was saying is. It's been a minute since I made a video, since I released a video, and decided I'm gonna do one today, reviewing. No, not reviewing, but reacting to a review on aotnr requiem. Now, I did not make this video. This is me reacting to another guy's video. I'm not gonna say his name. I will leave the link down below though, if you wanna watch it for yourself. Um, so basically, he's reviewing the first half of aotnr requiem. If you don't know what aotnr requiem is, it's basically or Attack on Titan Requiem for nickname aotnr or aotnr requiem. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a fan remake of the ending, based off the aotnr theory. If you don't know the aotnr theory, I don't know what the fuck you're doing here. Just to watch the video. But yeah, so I'm basically just gonna be reacting to this video. I did see a few. I did not. Well, I did not watch it, right? So this is my first time. This literally just I'm blind. I'm going this in blind. I had this in my save watch later for like a few hours, and I just never bothered to watch it. But I figured, as a comeback, why not, react to this video? So basically, he's gonna talk about the good, bad, and I guess even more bad in this series, and I'm gonna criticize on what he says, whether that he is wrong or whether that he is surprisingly right. I did watch his other old videos. He's an ending defender. If you really want to break it down, he's an ending defender, and he had like a whole like hour and a half video explaining why the ending was good or something like that. But anyways, uh, yeah. So basically, he's gonna talk about Alien Requiem. He had it on for like a few months, like a couple months. I just never bothered to watch it at all. But yeah, we're gonna watch this video. It's like almost 19 minutes long, and yeah, let's react.
If you've not been living under a rock, you know that the conclusion of Attack on Titan story is incredibly polarizing. There are those that hate it, those that love it, and even those who have found a new appreciation of it. Interestingly, an alternative fan ending that has been released under the name No Requiem aimed to mitigate these squabbles, but has potentially only been more divisive. Since I have
Mm.
reviewed the ending of the story already and part 2 of the final season, it feels
Mm-hmm.
appropriate for me to do the same with this fan creation and
Yes.
see where its merits lie and where they don't.
By the way, I like AOT Requiem. If you want stuff side I am, I'm one of the people who didn't like the ending. Okay, that's if you want to know what side I am, I'm not. I don't like the ending. I am currently on AOT and on. I am gonna do a read and a watch of the first half. I'm sorry I didn't make that video. I did have that video. I do have like the part one and part two saved, but I never started editing it. So that's my bad. I am gonna watch. I'm gonna do part three. Probably gonna live stream or something, maybe. But don't take me up on that. Let's go continue.
Instantly, I will note that the artwork of No Requiem is something to admire. In many cases, it's better than Isayama's own work, maintaining the grunge look that fits very well to the tone of the story.
That's facts. It really does look like East Yama's work, except obviously it's cleaner because it's made in a digital they made it digitally. They drew it digitally, so that's why it looks more cleaner than Isayama's work, because Isayama's obviously hand drawn.
Whilst adding the polish and consistency the original art lacked. Paneling is also genuinely superb and is not just brownie points to the eventual butt you may be anticipating. Combine that with elements of the writing actually being well done, and you have aspects such as the explanation of the hallucinogen delivered far more effectively than the original. Of
Facts.
course, that doesn't mean Isayama's was bad.
That's facts. It was. I think Aotemakam explained it much more better than Isayama did, because when Isayama introduced it, he was already on 137. So when he introduced it, he introduced it in 137, two chapters before the ending, before the last chapter. So like it didn't really make sense adding it now. That's in my opinion. In my opinion, it didn't really make sense adding it now. And if he did add it later on, he should like explain it a lot more in detail, since he added it like last second. But whatever. Continue.
Just that no requiem in this instance does a better job.
That's facts.
Zeke's
It does
presentation
do a
of
better
Ymir
job.
is also very well done and is in
Facts.
keeping with the character's very nihilistic outlook on life, questioning the need for meaning and frustrated at Ymir's push to defy the inevitable fate of death.
That's facts.
Learning more
If you listen, I'm gonna be saying facts. I'm gonna say that word a lot. So if you get tired of that word, just so you know, that's my fault. My bad, man.
about her character through his commentary also enables this story to flesh out the tragedy of her life, but also reasoning. The original relied a lot on interpretive meaning, focusing on showing, not telling. The
Facts.
problem that arose as a result of this is summed up with the glare she would have from afar. Some interpreted it as admiration that hints at her twisted form of love for the king, while for others, it was suggesting that she was resenting him from afar. Narokim chooses to have no room for interpretation and would rather tell you the answer. And yes, though it's an open ended answer, it definitely guides the reader's conclusion. Therefore, the storytelling can come across as quite telling, forcing narrative ideas with no headroom for interpretation for the reader. It's important to treat the audience with respect so that they can pick up on certain visual clues. Attack on Titan has always balanced this aspect flawlessly. Regardless, I think the best solution to both of these was how Mappa handled it in the anime. The cinematic presentation of Ymir's life was tragic but also carried a feeling of longing. The anime amplified this sense of her wanting to be loved so badly that she misplaced those feelings onto the king. What is more, it's clear by her visual unhappiness that she was suffering. And with what we learn later in the manga about her loving the king, she was
Wait,
most
what
possibly
is it?
she was suffering the king. What is more, it's clear by her visual unhappiness that she was suffering. And with what
Happiness.
we
What
learn
happiness?
later in the manga,
Did you say happiness? 'Cause I didn't see no happiness about any of the chapters. Like literally, in none of the chapters, she was happy. So like, I don't get what he was trying to say in happiness.
it's clear by her visual unhappiness that
Yeah,
she was suffering.
yeah. That
And with what we learn later,
I didn't see any happiness in her face at all. Besides 138, which I don't really like. There was no other happiness besides that. Like you never seen her smile in any of the chapters that she appears in besides 138. So I don't know what he means by happiness, but whatever.
in the manga about her loving the king, she was most possibly confused as to why someone she thinks she loves is causing her so much pain. This is why, at the end of the day, I believe she committed this act, a way for the king to show some sort of love back. And when he didn't, she had enough and lost her will. The anime does a great job of
Okay. That's his interpretation. I think most people who don't like the ending have one interpretation of this, of why Ymir did not regenerate. It is confirmed by Isayama that the key Titan regeneration, like a Titan shifter, when a Titan shifter gets heavily damaged, it's damaged. They must have a goal, if I'm correct, and they have to have the will to live. If they do not have the will to live, then they're gonna die. This he's trying to, I guess he's trying to do, like he's trying to make one for that makes sense because apparently she actually did love the king, right? She actually did love the king in the actual canon, but before that, even like before that conclusion, that ass powerful conclusion, most people viewed her dying as a way of escaping the king, right? Because don't forget, this man did abuse her physically, most likely verbally, mentally, and sexually, right? He did all forms of abuse, and the fact that you know that she loved him doesn't really make any sense into that concept. Most people that didn't like the ending viewed this as a way of escaping the king, right? Because she knew that she's a slave, she can't really go anywhere, she can't really escape, so why not just die, right? And since she doesn't have the will to live, she dies, right? So I don't know what he said about, oh, like getting stabbed and testing the king on see if she loves her or not. Like clearly he doesn't. Like if you saw in chapter 139, when she was killing like the kids, he was hanging out with other girls. So clearly he did not care from the beginning. So that what he just said made no sense. We just said made no sense. So let's continue.
of adding this further meaning that guides our interpretations, but also allows us to still come up with our own answers instead of force feeding a narrative. Moving on, although in a requiem we get
Huh. Forcing a narrative. Yeah. Talk about say at the 130, say at the ECR 139. That's forcing a fucking narrative.
this fantastic panel, it lacks the substance, impact, and symbology of the original due to the inclusion of adult Eren. In Isayama's version, we see him in his youthful form lap up the rumbling and the world he paves in his mind. However, that also means he is also purposely ignoring the blood-curdling screams of oppression below. In fact, this theme that is burning people is presented as clouds above from his perspective. He is literally shielding himself from seeing the death he is causing. In that moment, Isayama presents him with all that youthful ignorance. It's a small touch that is one of my favorite details in Attack on Titan because of the tragic symbology of Eren's state of mind. All of that is gone in No Requiem, in favor to have Eren look like a Chad, look cool and epic as an adult. I don't really get it. It's a nice panel, but the meaning is astronomically inferior to the original. It's like the original Lion King that has everything and all the source. And
What?
then you have the HD remake that looks stunning but lacks the impact and meaning. Furthermore, I don't necessarily resonate with the idea of Eren freeing Ymir. In the original, it felt like Isayama had him tap into Ymir's rage and frustration at her terrible life. And of course, he gets access to her power. This means the whole time as Eren causes chaos, she has not actually been.
Well, wait. So he doesn't like the idea of Eren freeing Ymir, but Eren freeing Ymir makes the most sense, right? Because first of all, besides 139, the extra pages, Mikasa and Ymir never had any interaction besides that. It makes perfect sense to have Eren free Ymir. That makes perfect sense. Literally, the first chapter, I'm pretty sure the chapter had Ymir's backstory. I think the first chapter is called To You, 2,000 years ago, something like that. And then the chapter that Ymir was introduced about her backstory was From You, 2,000 years ago. So clearly, since the chapters, since the chapter titles really address each other, clearly means that Eren and Ymir had a connection from the beginning. So that doesn't really make sense the way you said that, how Eren freeing Ymir makes no sense. So that's, and lacking substance, here's the reason why they did this, right? Let me go back. No, fuck it. Let me just stay on this video. The reason why they did this was to call, was to call back to chapter 1, right? Because in chapter 1, Eren, he woke up from a dream, right? And this was the dream that Eren had, that kid Eren had, right? So that's why this is there. It's not meant to symbolize Eren's state of mind or whatever he's fucking saying. It's meant to call back to 130, not 130. It's meant to call back all the way back to chapter 1. That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of this moment, was to call back from chapter 1, because Eren woke up from a dream that he had. That's the whole point. It's a call back from chapter 1. So where the fuck was I at? I was here. Let's
Her
continue.
terrible life. And of course, he gets access to her power. This means the whole time as Eren causes chaos, she has not actually been freed, which makes sense as it would be something far more difficult to attain from just a rousing speech. But it would be something she would learn through an honest portrayal of love from Mikasa, something she could actually see with her own eyes. Maybe it's a personal taste thing, but that original resolution felt far more powerful and honest. This one does.
Yeah, but yeah, this one is far more ass-pulley. Like, the original was far more ass-pulley than whatever this shit is. Right? That's... Because first of all, Mikasa never had any interaction with Ymir at all. And even if she did, we never really saw it before chapter 139. So, you can calm down on that one, pal.
Facing it with simple one-to-one solution. Moving into part 2, you begin to notice the writing has many problems, which is ironic as the creation of this is supposed to suppress the supposed narrative issues for those who dislike the original ending. No Requiem has definitive plot holes. For example, Eren is presented through framing techniques to genuinely believe that he and his people are different to those on the outside. This rips apart the brilliant dialogue interaction between Reiner and him in chapter 100, which completely smudged the line between the supposed sides. Eren even says to Reiner that he knows they are the same, as he saw the ignorance they were fed when he lived amongst them for that bit of time.
Okay, I'll tell you no. Okay, I need to go back on this because I know for a fact he did not read that. He's saying that basically Eren's an evil nigga who wants to kill people. I could have sworn that he was explaining what the fuck was going on. Hold on. Let me go back here. He's saying how it pushes. Okay, I don't want. Manga style, all pages. Okay. Because I'm pretty sure. Let me see here. Okay. I'm pretty sure. She literally says no other way. Like, Eren knows what he's doing is fucking wrong. Clearly, right? She's saying that Eren's doing it for the sake of being evil, right? But we already know. Look at that. We look at this right here. This panel right here, man. It's all Willie's fault, man. Eren knows that, yo, they're all the same, but the world just hates them, right? If literally, let's be honest, if Willie Tiber had not declared war on parody, Eren never done the rumbling. Simple as that. Let's continue.
This was one of the multiple purposes behind Willie Tiber's war cry to fight Eren, which presented a reflection of his famous line, born into this world, as their own justification. But this chapter and dialogue throws all that away, forgetting that nuance of Eren in favor to make him look cool. And I think that's one of my biggest gripes with Eren in this fan ending. He has no depth. He feels incredibly thin and linear. As someone who has attempted to write plenty of stories that will never see the light of day, there is a skill to character writing that differentiates amateurs from seasoned pros. Whenever in charge of a character, we can get too bogged down in trying to create a clear image of goals, motivations, and beliefs. And that's fine. But what it takes away from is the real human feeling characters can have when you don't box them in.
What, killing 80% of people and not knowing why you did it? Yeah, that's character depth. Yeah, man. That is character depth, man. Yo, I killed 8% of the world. I don't even know why I did it. Yeah. That's character depth. Yeah, way much character depth.
Eren initially, as many have talked about, is like a shonen character with a simplistic mindset, naive solutions, and grand goals. He thought he had it all figured out, but over the course of the story, Isayama fleshes him out by having his goals and perspectives grow alongside and on top of his initial ones. For example, he no longer just yearns for his own freedom, but the need to preserve the life of those he has come to love.
Yes.
When we come to this fan ending, though, Eren just seems so one-minded that it hurts all the effort.
Whoa, wait a minute. Okay. I want to say something. Because let me just explain here. This fan ending is just a remake of an ending. It's not erasing all the things that happened before. It's just redoing 137, 138, and 139 split into 6 parts. It's not. He's not resetting the whole story. I don't know what he's saying here. He's literally saying, "Oh, it's not resetting the whole story. It's just a remake of an ending." He's like, I don't get it, man. He's acting like he's going back from the rumbling arc, man. Well, anyways, man.
That went into making him one of the most complex characters in storytelling. Nevertheless, the characterization of Armin is also all over the place in part 2, which I can get if you're trying to portray him as a frantic and lost individual who is lost in his mind. But that's not the case. In fact, if anything, this chapter shows from the get-go that he has a clearer resolve and understanding than ever before.
Yes, he does. Like, he's supposed to have an original, right? In the original, he didn't have, I want to say he didn't have resolve, he didn't have a plan, right? Armin's meant to replace Owen, and that means, like, being assertive how I say it, assertive? Yeah, assertive and shit. So clearly, that's the whole point of his character, was to be from a pussy to a real, and I'm not gonna say the word, to someone who is more braver than he was originally. That's the whole point of his character, and I think that part two did this pretty well. So I don't know why he's saying Armin being brave or confrontive, it's bad. It fits in the character development. It's not out of nowhere.
Frustratingly, Armin also does things he would never do,
Like
like
what?
physically threaten Eren when he's
Okay, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Do we have to watch the video? Let's go watch the video. Oh no. Oh no. Let's get to go watch the video. Wait a minute. Armin's never confrontive. Then what's this, nigga? What's this? Wait a minute. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's go. Oh my gosh. We need to continue. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's this? What's this? What's this? Armin getting angry and trying to throw hands? Armin never threats with violence? What? At this point, Armin isn't even threat with violence. He just starts trying to throw a haymaker at Eren, bruh. Talking about Armin never never threatens people physically. What's this? What chapter is this? What chapter? I want to know what chapter this is right now. Hold on. Look at that. Wait a minute. What's this? Oh my goodness. What is he saying? What's this, my friend? This man threw a haymaker first. Oh my goodness. See, some Armin is not not confrontive like that. Really? Really? What about this, man? Get the fuck out of here. Oh, well, the chapter you want to protect so bad. What about 139? Look, he full punches too. Fuck out of here, man. With that bullshit, bruh. Continue, bro. Like, I don't want to watch the video anymore, bro, but whatever, man. I'm gonna continue this shit. We'll talk about Armin never confront with violence. You clearly haven't read any fucking chapters, bro.
his own weakness and insecurities are brought up. For the entire story thus far, he has acted as we'd expect, retreating into his shell about his own ability. When others like Mikasa have been attacked, then yes, he has lost it, as he believes in the worth of certain individuals, particularly these two, over his own. Don't get me wrong, I love the tribute of Armin telling Eren.
Wait a minute. But you see why Eren, wait, hold on, we need to go back. Because Armin has all the resolve to start grabbing up Eren, because it's not Eren just insulting Mikasa. This man is killing millions of people as they speak. So clearly Armin has the perfect reason to start, confronting Eren physically. So like, I don't know what he's saying here. What, Mikasa's worth it, but not the rest, not the people? That kind of doesn't really make sense, pal. You saying Armin is justified because Armin's justified for hitting Eren because Eren insulted Mikasa, but he's not justified grabbing Eren because what? Like, what do you mean, bro? He has all the reason to grab Eren like that because Eren is killing millions of people, and Armin's trying to convince him to stop, but he's not stopping. He's being stubborn. Like, Mikasa's worth it, but not, not the world. The world's not worth it, but Mikasa is, yeah. Mikasa, yeah. He insulted Mikasa. Yeah, he deserves to. He deserves to get punched, but Eren killing millions of people? Nah. Armin's too confronted for that. He don't deserve. He can't do that. Fuck out of here, bro.
He is going to waste the sacrifices of those who came before. This panel illustrates that point wonderfully. However, the suggestion by some fans that Erwin's sacrifice was pointless in the original ending is detached from the message of the story. It doesn't matter that characters live or die. What matters is the meaning they give when they are here, and how those who knew them remember them. And simultaneously, as rosy and beautiful as Erwin's war speech is, it is presented as nothing but lies by Flock in chapter 84. He says they felt nothing of what the commander spoke of, just fear. This complicates the messaging of those sacrifices being for the greater good, which Armin clarifies in the original ending by saying that all of our lives matter through what we decide to give meaning, and it doesn't matter if we die so long as we live meaningfully. whole part of Attack on Titan has been to tear down this authoritarian messaging of give your life to the cause, the greater good. Your life should be your own. You decide its meaning. Another controversial part is when Armin recites that Eren would never have committed this. Depending on how you view him, the story of no requiem can continue on. But if you disagree and believe Eren has had that beast within him before his development to it, then it falls down like a house of cards. For some odd reason, there is a strong refusal by a loud.
This is what he's talking about. Okay, let me say right there. Hold on. Because I think we're trying to say... Because the reason why Armin says the Eren I know was because Armin has an idealistic view. I'm not... Well, yeah, I would say that. Because don't forget, Armin is Eren's best friend, and he knows that, well, he kind of feels that his friend would never do something like this, right? Don't forget, at this point, Armin and Eren knew each other since like over like 10 years. So obviously, Armin will never think that Eren can do such a thing. That's what it means, the Eren I know. Simple as that.
The cause, the great Eren cards. Eren from a young age was flawed. I say small because part 2 of the final season exposed the truth really well to the wider public. Regardless, him being flawed doesn't mean wrong, stupid, and dumb. Of course it doesn't. As Eren has grown to become a menacing threat not just because of his power, but intellect. Yet, his outlook and solutions are still twisted. From a young age, unlike many other kids, he turned to violence to murder kidnappers. Certainly self-defense, but his reasoning during and after the fact, where he is emphasizing their lack of humanity, insisting they're beasts, is eye-opening to not just us, but his father. Surely Eren is aware of his actions and how twisted they are. Mikasa even behaves as you'd expect. But he justifies his actions and brushes off his guilt by believing in a twisted way of thinking. And you know what? He'll do it again and again throughout the story, most notably during the famous Freedom panel, where he blinds himself to the death below to believe in something that won't make him accept reality. Eren is flawed. It's part of what makes him such a complex, nuanced character. That demon he became was a part of him more than any other character at the beginning, and it was preventable. At least I potentially think so. But the reality of the world led him to lean into his flaws. With all that being said though, part 2 does feature some great dialogue, with Eren throwing the same line Armin has repeatedly said throughout the franchise. Admittedly, it's a moment I wish happened in the original, but didn't ever happen.
Yeah. See, now you're giving a compliment to them. Now, what I'm curious about I'm very curious on what he's gonna talk about Historia, because he's on the first half of part 2. So I wonder what he's gonna talk about in the Historia chapter. I know for a fact he's gonna say some bullshit about the Historia part that I don't want to fucking hear. Okay? So he's admitting that the dialogue here is not bad, but it's pretty good on this part because it's calling back to the previous chapters, what Armin always says and what. So like yeah, you know what? I really want to hear what he's got to say about Historia and the backstory. I want to hear this. Let's go.
It's like that though are rare in this part and are overclouded by so much left field drama. A big point of controversy with the original was the Eren and Mikasa romance, and No Requiem not only chooses to change that, but also dabble with the concept of love far more. This is extremely problematic because it breaks...
Okay, first of all, it's not problematic. I think what they did is they pushed I'm gonna be honest, I think everyone knows this. I think everyone who actually read the story really knows this. First of all, Eren and Mikasa's relationship was very one-sided on Mikasa's part, right? And even in the interviews, Ishiyama says that Eren views Mikasa as like a mother figure, but as like a sister, whatever the fuck talking about. And even if you look at the guidebooks too, like Mikasa's part of the Jaeger family tree. It just says adopted sister, some shit like that. And Eren viewed her like that, right? So it doesn't really make sense on the Eren Mikasa love thing because it wasn't really there, right? If Ishiyama actually developed it more and if Eren and Mikasa had their one-on-one moments together, off, like act like without any of the action or something, I can understand that. But Isayama did not do that. He did not deliver on that part. So clearly, that's what made the Eren Mikasa love thing kind of flip floppy, because he never like made them have a conversation one on one. Clearly, it's always another third party coming in. Like, I don't know. Like, you could say the freaking, that scene where Aaron looking at Ramsey or some shit, or the tent part, whatever. I don't know. See that? I don't know what chapter that was. I think it was 130. I think it was 130 as well. As well. But like, then again, Mikasa was shy and said, "Oh, I see you as," I think she said, family. If I'm correct. So clearly, yeah, I was kind of from the beginning, but. And I'm gonna say right now, I think most people will say that Aaron and the story is like relationship was, it was very well done. Like, it wasn't the main focal of like it wasn't the main focal of part two, but it was well done. Like, in this version, it was much more well done and much more completed, unlike in the original. So
Breaks the
let's see what you have to say.
representation of the theme that was so appropriately presented in this story. For the most part, the commentary and development of love has resided within the subtext. Without tooting my own horn, I hadn't seen anyone bring this point up till I mentioned it in my ending analysis. And that being, love is a genuine theme in this dark dystopian fantasy, as it's created not for its development, but lack of it. The reoccurring absence and underdevelopment of something with
Okay, so I think, yeah, but I think what I clearly what the okay. I'm a little complete.
within a
I'm a little
story
complete.
will then
My
become a
bad.
theme of its own through the subtext, as it is an established message from the writer, whether they meant it or not. So when Isayama frequently chooses to leave love both sparsely represented and underdeveloped in Attack on Titan, it becomes a message that it exists in this world, but will remain nothing for our characters, as their priority is to push towards more important goals.
Mm-hmm.
Conveniently, it almost reminds me of the Game of Thrones line that love is the death of duty, and vice versa. Regardless, this
You compare to the Games of Thrones. Let's see. Look how Game of Thrones ended. let's uh, let's see how Game of Thrones ended. But you talking about, first of all, I think Game of Thrones did not even. Okay, I don't want to go on this topic about Game of Thrones, man. Okay, let me just break it down here. Danny going. Okay, let's talk about GOT for a second. Danny going insane. Like, Danny going insane is not like a bad thing, but the way that was executed was terrible, right? Like, yeah, Danny, John killing Danny, it makes sense, right? Because she came insane, but the way that she went insane was not developed properly. Because by the time season 6 and season 7 and season 8 was being developed, George R. R. Martin wasn't even done with the next two books that's supposed to come out to complete the story. So I I'm gonna say, if you're comparing something to Game of Thrones in a good way, I'm sorry, but you already lost that, man. I'm sorry.
that love is the death of duty, and vice versa. Regardless, this idea is seen with characters like Erwin. He's the last person you expect the theme of love to appear around. In chapter 53, there's this dialogue interaction. Suddenly, he admits to Niall that he may have loved his wife, though never pursued her due to his greater ambitions and goals. Similarly, Keith Sharders loved Erin's mother, but never pursued her as he was committed to the military and a special destiny. Marlowe loved Hitch, yet he didn't notice it till it was too late. Sasha and Nicolo loved each other, but that never happened due to the cycle of hatred preventing it. Historian Ymir, Bertolt and Annie, Eren and Mikasa. Love is something that is so evidently present as a theme in Attack on Titan, but for its tragedy, its inability to develop, a theme befitting the complexity of this world. However, no requiem abandons all of that. That whole idea that has been built up since the beginning and is changed in favor of Eren and Historia. This romance is frustrating since it also breaks the main developments of Historia's character in Attack on Titan.
Okay, I'm saying right now. I think, okay, it's basically saying that every relationship has some sort of tragedy happening or something like that. Um, let's just talk about Aaron for a second here. Okay, so basically trying to say that every relationship has some sort of tragedy or a relationship never happens because of this and this. Aaron and Astoria get together, right? But the tragedy of that is that everyone outside the walls, everyone outside the island, including the friends, are dead. That is that's pretty tragic. So saying that every relationship has some sort of tragedy, this relationship has some sort of tragedy. They actually get together, but some shit happens. Some major consequence occurs. So you're saying that you're trying to say that every relationship, you're saying that this relationship won't have a tragedy, but this one could clearly have a fucking consequence, aka everyone outside the wall being dead. Yeah, that's pretty. That's a pretty tragic. They're together, but they have everyone's deaths on their conscience. Yeah, that's pretty fucking tragic.
Right? To live for herself and no one else.
Okay, okay. Oh, I watched the video. I watched 2 seconds of it, and I'm gonna have to break it down. She is living for herself. Let me explain you why. First, I'm pretty sure it was obvious I'm pretty sure everyone knew that Mikasa liked Eren, right? I know Historia, she's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but she's not that dumb to not know that, okay? Okay? And I mean, you kind of say that since you're mirror and shit, but whatever. First of all, she is living for herself, right? Because her having a child was her idea, and her choosing Eren was her idea. Okay, so she is living for herself. She's making these decisions for herself, not for Eren. She didn't have to choose Eren in AOT Welcome. She didn't have to choose Eren, but she did so. She didn't have to get pregnant, but she did so. She is thinking about herself, and she is doing things for herself, right? She knows that Eren is doing the rumbling and shit. But she decided to do this. She tried to make this decision for herself. We get what I'm trying to say here. So I want to know why he's saying how this does not match Historia's character. What it actually perfectly does, because she's doing this. She's doing this decision for herself, right? Obviously for Eren too. But the point of thinking about herself is to be selfish. That's what she means by thinking about herself. He's not he's not literally thinking about, oh, do it for yourself and yourself only. Just being selfish. Be more selfish. Be you know do things for yourself, right? What you would like. That's the kind of what Hisora's development was, and her making this decision was hers. Nobody else. Nobody influenced her. Nobody. So people say, oh no, Aaron had no influence on this decision. This was her decision. She's thinking about mostly about herself. She's doing this, you know, for her emotional gain. Okay, she is thinking about herself. She is being selfish. Okay, with her asking this question right here, basically says, I'm thinking we are more important than the world. That's selfishness. It's 1 in the morning. I'm actually 1:30. I should be sleepy right now. Let's continue this video, bro.
Completely out of character for her to give up her life like that.
She's not giving up her life. She just wants to. She's not giving up her life, but think about 139. Why she had the child for? Why she had the child at 130 in the original? No reason. There was no reason why she had a child in the original. Because first of all, she would never have gone. First of all, if she wasn't pregnant, obviously she wouldn't have gone to battle. Okay, and not only that, Zeke was not getting eaten. I know for a fact many people will say, oh, Zeke would got eaten. No, he would not. Okay, because obviously they're gonna obviously do something to get Historia to eat Zeke as casually as possible. So obviously the Wine plan was there for a reason, to prevent Zeke from getting eaten. So clearly her getting pregnant was no point in the story. But in this version, they clarified it and then said, "This is she didn't do it for any sort of she didn't do it for Aaron's plan. She didn't do anything to um to help Aaron's plan. This is the own little thing that they have. Okay, this like so.
Especially to someone she doesn't love. Aaron is a close friend, but the story makes it very clear that he doesn't love her, nor does she love him. She's only loved Ymir. In the original
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna say it right now. This is gonna be such a controversial opinion. Historia never loved Ymir like that. Okay, she appreciated Ymir. She liked her as a friend, but she never loved Ymir romantically. And she never knew Ymir liked her romantically until she got the letter. So his argument is already kind of bullshit right there. Okay? Historia never loved Ymir like that, and she didn't realize that Ymir was actually serious about her, marry me and shit until she got the letter. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that one, Chief man. You're kind of wrong on that one.
ending, Historia is taken away from the core plot of the narrative,
Yeah,
focusing on her own life with a man she knew from childhood.
yeah, the man who threw rocks at her, man. Yeah, man. I'll totally get. You should totally get with that guy. They never had any connection. Throwing rocks at her. Rocks can be deadly. She if they hit her in the head. Big concussion, and judging by her mom don't really care about her, she probably let her bleed out and die of concussion. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Such a supportive guy, throwing rocks and stuff. Yeah, man. Good man, farmer dude. Perfect guy.
Part of the narrative, focusing on her own life with a man she knew from childhood. This means she has taken agency over her story.
And this means that there's the reason why Ymir and his story has so much parallels. Historia is one of the biggest, is one of the most important characters in the story. They wouldn't have a whole uprising arc, mostly books about her, if she wasn't going to be major in the later parts of the series. And not only that, what about the pregnancy? Because every time if she didn't matter, then her, then we didn't have to see her in the pregnancy at all. We didn't have to see those chapters on Historia's pregnancy. How come every time? I remember in like 130 something, whatever. I forgot what chapter it was. I don't know if it was 130 something. But every time they always go back. They always go back to like for example, we didn't have to see this, right? If she was irrelevant to the story, then why show her? Right? And I'm pretty sure, what was it, chapter 136, if I'm correct. Right? Oh yeah. If her story didn't matter, why did you get this? Why did you get chapter 130? Why do we get no chapter 130? Yeah, but why do yeah. Also, yeah, why did you get chapter 130? What was the whole point of her conversation with Aaron? What was the whole point of her story asking Aaron about the child? Right? Clearly she had a bigger role. Clearly she had a bigger motive. And the whole point of her in aotnr requiem was supposed to be Aaron's selfish motivation. Obviously, Aaron has much more motivation to do the rumbling in this version. But clearly her story she was always reminded us. She always appeared, like, I don't know, she always appeared somewhere in the chapter to remind us that, okay, Historia is pregnant. 136, she's giving birth. Okay. It reminds us, okay, that's why. So him saying her story didn't matter after Uprising arc is just bullshit. Because if her story concluded in the Uprising arc, why did they keep on showing her after that? She should have appeared again, but she dies. She always appears. She appears, and we just got no answer from it. So if her story really concluded in the Uprising arc, why did she appear in the other chapters after that? Make sense?
Even in a sense, breaking the fourth wall and taking it away from Isayama. I have no clue whether he meant that or not, but it fits so well as it was consistent with the theme of love's representation. We see her cut away from her duty in order for a newfound love to prosper. She's not intertwined.
Yeah, therefore she in aotnr requiem, she didn't have to have the child in the first place. You have to realize that either way her story would have been safe because the wine plan was there. It would have been effective whether her story was pregnant or not. So yeah. Sorry to burst your bubble, pal.
With these events anymore. Additionally, another dagger that completely tears up Astoria's character in part 2 of Requiem is the lack of care for the innocent lives that will be used as pawns and lost in Erin's plan. In Requiem, she is presented to feel nothing but sadness for Erin. But what about the other people? What about the other innocent lives? She feels nothing of those lives.
Okay, let me just say this again. Let me just say this again. This conversation is supposed to. This conversation in part 2 is supposed to fill. Not. It's not supposed to replace the original conversation in 130. It's supposed to complete the conversation. They're just finishing the flashback because in chapter 130 it was left open-ended. So what aotnr requiem did was conclude the conversation. They did not replace it, they concluded it and they filled in the second half of it. So this guy's argument about his argument is completely deep, it's completely trash. Because the whole point of this part of the conversation was not to replace the original conversation in 130. It's supposed to fill in the missing pieces and supposed to fill in the second half. It's supposed to complete the flashback, not replace it. So clearly he had not read it properly. You see these ending defenders, man? They'll do anything to try to do best get wins.
That will be taken. People whose circumstances she should be able to sympathize with most, above any person in the story of Attack on Titan. The original got this perfectly. The story is frustrated at Eren for the people he will use and hurt, perpetuating a cycle of hatred and damning innocent.
Let me repeat. The conversation in part 2 is not to replace. Oh my goodness, I am fucking up. The conversation in part 2 is not to replace this conversation in 130. It's supposed to complete this conversation. That's the whole point of the conversation in part 2. And if you actually listen to the interview that Senior Chief had with the aotnr crew, they even said it that this is not supposed to replace it. It's supposed to complete this conversation right here. So his take on this Eren historical conversation alone is automatically garbage and it's automatically trash. Because clearly she's the reason his whole argument is basically it's a whole misunderstanding because he did not read it properly. He did not read the conversation. He did not read the chapter. He did not read part 2 properly, and that's his fault. So if he had any misunderstandings, clearly any defender, any haters, or as you call it, any dislikers, they got this completely. They're like, okay, we understand that this is not to replace the conversation; it's just to complete it. So I'll repeat this again. The conversation in part 2 is only to complete this conversation in 130, not to replace it. So I hope he gets that through his skull and reads it again with this new perspective, because he wants to give us a whole new perspective.
Bitch. Knows what it's like to be used as nothing but for this greater idea of a greater cause.
Yeah. Just like Eren. Why do you think the scouts saved Eren? Because Eren had the founding titan. So therefore, they couldn't afford to lose him. Wow. Literally, didn't anyone not think of that? Wow, man, you have not read the story, haven't you? Eren was being used too. Right? His story was being used too. His story was being used because of real blood, as Eren is being used because he had the founding titan. Let's be honest here. If Aaron did not have the Founding Titan and he was stuck on Molly, the Scouts would have saved him. Probably Mikasa, probably Iron Man, maybe John. But let's be honest, the reason why those Scouts saved him is because he had the Founding Titan, and they couldn't afford to lose the Founding Titan because they know if they lost the Founding Titan, Birdie is fucked. So, you know, Aaron is being used too. They also share that parallel. So them doing things for themselves breaks that. Hope you understand that.
But she took agency and control back. No requiem instead, though.
Yeah. So in the Requiem, she took agency and did something that she wanted to do. Right? She didn't have to get pregnant. I'll repeat this again. She didn't have to get pregnant. But she took her agency back and decided, hey, Aaron, let's make a promise and shit like that. So yeah, her agency is not lost in AOT Requiem. So he just doing bad takes. I need someone else to react to this, man. I need Saiyan Chief to get on this. I want to send this to Saiyan Chief. I do have his Discord. I'm on his Discord, so I'm gonna send this to Saiyan Chief and tell him to react to this and see what's gonna happen. I want him to react
Makes
to
her
this
a
shit.
vapid vessel for plot reasoning. Furthermore, while Aaron's emotional breakdown in Chapter 139 was clowned by certain portions of the fanbase, No Requiem, in my opinion, has its own when it dives head deep into this soap or drama.
Because, bro. Yeah, sure. AOT Requiem does have this drama, but this drama is way more better than how I went in 139. It's way more better, man. Because this drama, this drama in AOT Requiem is way more better than what happened in the original. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's continue.
Clearly, Part 2 of No Requiem messes a lot up for me. But the recent released Part 3 does.
Okay, but then that's drama. So this image right here, right? This panel, this image right here, this makes Armin understand Aaron more, right? So let me just explain. So Armin knows that she's destroying the world to protect the island. But now with this drama that he says, this image that you're seeing in the screen right now, this image this image gives Armin more clarification. This gives Armin more clarification on why, like, on understanding Aaron. So he's like, okay, so there's more to it than just saving the world, than saving the island. He has a child on the way, and now it makes Armin even complicate even further because shit. Like, okay, I understand my friend is doing this because he wants to protect us and he has a child on the way, but like, what he's doing is wrong. It complicates Armin's decision much more further. It makes Armin's decision harder. So, his take on saying this drama is unnecessary, this is actually good because it gives Aaron much more of a deeper understanding on why he's doing it, right? It gives Aaron much more of a selfish reason on why he's doing it. And for Armin, it gives him much more a deeper meaning of what Aaron is doing, on why Aaron is doing this, right? So now Armin understands Aaron more, and it complicates Armin's decision even more to stop Aaron. So this drama is not useless. The drama is necessary, and I think it was well executed. And he's just saying he's just mad because he don't understand this part.
Of No Requiem messes a lot up for me. But the recent released Part 3 does a lot so well. In fact, this is the best of what No Requiem has to offer, leaning far more on their stunning art and amazing paneling rather than story beats. But even then, what writing is done is far better than previous. Armin's rise to become the commander was some great work that wasn't in the original,
Yeah,
and definitely
facts.
wasn't done as well as this.
Facts.
The cutaways also felt like something you'd see in the anime adaptation.
Mhm.
It felt very alive and powerful. Unfortunately, though, there's not much else to praise about this part, largely due to it being an action-packed chapter. In terms of problems, I did find myself feeling this kind of happened out of nowhere. But that could be because John is one of my favorite characters. So I hope there is at least some sort of explanation instead of just killing him off for effect.
Oh,
I
this
also
will be
dislike the
explanation for
decision they
sure.
went with Eren taking away Armin's freedom to act. It's not in line with his character. Though flawed, Eren is principled in his belief system, one of which is to value the freedom of individuals, particularly those he loves. Nevertheless,
Wait a minute.
besides those moments, everything this chapter offered felt clean and satisfying.
Wait a minute. Hold on. He's not controlling Armin. He's just saying, yo, he's not controlling Armin. He's saying, whatever, do it. Go ahead. Have it your way. He's not manipulating Armin in any other, not manipulating Armin to do anything in any other way. He's just sending him back into reality. That's what he's doing. So, but in his turn, besides this quote unquote issue, to him, part 3 is perfect. Yeah, man. It's magnifico.
I actually also dislike the decision they went with Eren taking away Armin's freedom to act. It's not in line.
They didn't, I repeat, he didn't take his act away. Oh, I see what you're trying to say. Because Armin was stuck in the past. Okay, I see what you're trying to say. Okay, I see. Okay.
With his character.
Armin
flawed, Eren is principled in his belief system, one of which.
But then again, Armin is free in the end anyway, so clearly that his argument also just cut off completely. So to him, part 3 is magnificent.
Is to value the freedom of individuals, particularly those he loves. Nevertheless, besides those moments, everything this chapter offered felt clean and satisfying. While Armin comes across as a screaming maniac in part 2, here he comes across as a level-headed commander, which makes sense when the ending resolution of the previous part gave him that resolve. This was a very solid and polished part 3 of No Requiem. Hopefully that continues. Despite that, what is probably most damaging for No Requiem though is the ending it chooses. The conclusion must respect the thematic portrayal of violence and war in this fictional world. Throughout its history, many have tried varying methods to avoid conflict, but it always persists due to forms of violence. Violence has never solved violence. The greatest and most grotesque form of it most definitely shouldn't. This is something the original kept true to. Perfectly functioning humans outside the world of Attack on Titan should also understand this. It's no moral standard. It's the objective truth of that world and our world. Regardless, though, of all my analysis of No Requiem's material, the most problematic thing about this whole situation, and why the title of this video includes the word ugly, is because of the commentary surrounding it. The most infuriating thing about No Requiem so far is its own extreme advocates. And to be fair, this goes for anyone on either side of the fan base, even those who are strongly pro-original. For me, pro-No Requiem advocates come across as disrespectful. And yes, that applies to those who...
He's one of those people. He is one of those people. Aotnr Requiem is disrespectful. Stick to the original. Yep. He's one of those people. I don't know if I want to listen to the rest of the video anymore, because I really don't like those type of people that like say, it's disrespectful, and that's also to the other side too. If you're on the other side and you like the ending, and you say disrespectful, whatever. But really, man, it's a fan ending, bro. It's just a fan ending. It's not gonna change the canon, okay? Alright, it's not canon. So why is he saying disrespectful, man? Why is he saying disrespectful? Come on, man. Come on, man. He's saying disrespectful. It's not disrespectful. Anything, this is a freaking praise, bro. Because they're busting their ass to draw this shit. They're busting their ass to write this shit. So, though I'm saying it's him saying disrespectful. Nah, that's pretty respectful. The fact that they're doing this much effort, that's pretty respectful, bro. So, and even in the interview, they said they're not doing this out of malice. They're just saying, hey, if you don't like the ending, you just come here and read another one, or the other ones that are being created. He never reviewed those ones, but he's saying this one's disrespectful. Yeah, I would say something else too, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut for this one.
To feel the need to put a clarification and add warning of how much they love Isayama, and that them supporting No Requiem is in no way meant as disrespect, but as an expression of love for the franchise, which would be valid. What's not is the
because it is valid. They're doing this. They're making this end. They make another ending out of the appreciation. They're just doing things differently than what Isayama. Obviously, we don't know what Isayama would have done originally, but they're doing their best to make it their vision on what Isayama could have, what could have done. So they're not doing this out of malice, but you're trying to say, ooh, and if you read between the lines, this is pretty disrespectful. No, they're not. No, it's not, man. This is clearly just a passion project, man. He just mad 'cause he can't draw like this. I can't draw like this. I wish I could draw like this. Shit, man. I got some stories in my head I want to write about, but I can't draw like this. So I have to stick to writing. I gotta stick to typing on this laptop. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's watch this video. Let's watch this video.
to then proceed and create hysteria through misinformation by claiming that no requiem is the original ending Isayama planned.
Nope. No. Oh my goodness. He's misunderstanding it again, bro. They're not saying that this is the original. Oh my god. They're not saying this is the original thing that Isayama has planned. That's what that's what they think that Isayama originally has planned. We don't know what Isayama originally has planned. We don't know his original ending. They're just doing this based off of theory that could have happened, right? They're basing it off of theory, not saying this is the original ending that Isayama did. No. So clearly he's just bullshitting on this one.
I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Big amazing creators have unfortunately pushed this narrative, which is the total abuse of power. And you guessed it, a complete slap in the face of the man you claim to not be disrespecting. In general, these people make it difficult to enjoy and celebrate No Requiem, as these extreme fanboys are being disrespected.
Yeah, bro. Have you seen your side of fandom? Have you seen your side of fandom? Have you ever saw the aotnr subreddit? Yeah, they're pretty bad, bro. So don't diss this side of fandom. Don't diss this side of the extremists, bro. While looking at your side, bro. Cause your side, oof, they got some bad extremists, bro. Go watch Tadaka. Go watch Saint Chief's Tadaka podcast. Not podcast. Yeah, it's a podcast. Yeah, you can say it's a podcast. Go watch Saint Chief's debates with the ending defenders. Whew, they can get extremist, bro. Not only that, whenever an artist draws Erihisu on, you see some people, some Aramikas and some people who like the ending, be shitting on them to the point where they had to deactivate their Twitter accounts. So yeah, don't blame our side, don't blame our extremist this, and while your side's doing the same exact thing, just the opposite way. So yeah, your side's not best either. As a matter of fact, I think from what I've seen, it's worse. So yeah, take that and shove it, because what you just said was pretty much bullshit. Because your side of fandom, whew, let's just say, they're brutal. So
I want this video to only be about me exclaiming my love and criticisms of a detailed alternative fan ending for a franchise I hold dear to my heart, instead of drilling into its unnecessary controversy. Now, with that being said, part 1 does a good job of setting up a good alternative conclusion, but part 2 makes me understand why I like the original ending, why each day gets better and better, because it may just be the only way the story could have ended while keeping true to its themes, story, and characters. Some may say I'm being harsh, especially on part 2, but understand, I believe it has great beats.
bro, he's being harsh on part 2 because Eric is canon in this version of the story. That's why he's being harsh on it. I'm pretty sure if it was Mika's, like, he'd be crying and say this is the fucking masterpiece. But nah, it's Historia, so he's not gonna like it. Yeah, yeah, man, yeah.
And ideas with some aspects that would still have benefited from being in the original maybe. But the execution leaves a lot to be desired. Fortunately, part 3 of No Requiem kicks it back into focus, into what it does best: action and brilliantly polished drawings that can tap into great emotional beat.
Yeah, tell that Isayama, stick to action scenes. Tell that to Isayama because he admitted he can't write shit for romance. So he should stay out of that department. AKA, if romance is the theme of the story, but he should stay out of the Attack on Titan story completely. He should stop writing completely. Stick the action scenes, yeah, man. Tell Isayama that, bro. Go get a translator or some shit and tell him that in Japanese, bro. Because clearly he cannot write. He cannot write emotional. He cannot write romantic things at all. So if fans can do it, if fans are doing it better than the original author with your own characters, bro, I'm sorry, bro. But yeah, that's what Ishiyama should do. Stick to the basics. Stick to the action scenes. Tell that to Ishiyama.
I hope you lot found this informative, and please be civil in the comments. This is my No Requiem review and analysis done. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it like this, but anyways, yeah, this is my reaction to this. So again, he's an ending defender. I watched his 1.5 hour video on why the ending is good and some shit like that. So I obviously knew there was gonna be some points that can be easily countered. So my reaction to this is uh I mean, if you want to watch it, go ahead and watch it. I mean, I'm not gonna say his name. If you want to watch the video, I might put a link in the description. But then again, any publicity is good publicity. So I might not even put the link in the description just to benefit of the doubt. So yeah, this is the end of the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Next video, I don't know what I'm gonna do next video, but I'll figure something out. And I am out.